The Tender Bar dropped on Amazon Prime Video today. It stars Ben Affleck, Ty Sheridan, and a lot of other people, and it's directed by George Clooney. I watched this one today because I just wanted to watch another new movie, just because I feel like in 2022, I really want to step up my game of just watching as many movies as possible. 2021, I kind of slacked a little bit, especially towards the end of the year, but this year, I'm going to try to review as much as possible when it comes to new releases, and because it was on Prime Video, I checked it out, and just to cut right to it, this film is solid. And the biggest criticism I hear about this is that it doesn't really add anything new to film in general, at least the genre, and I agree, but it's just a good time. It's just a sweet movie, but there are some great things about the film, and I will get into that in a little bit. But this is a story that I'm not actually familiar with. I'd never heard about it. I don't know how popular it is. I know that this memoir came out in, I think, 2005 or something like that, of this JR person, and I didn't know anything about it, so there were some nice surprises kind of throughout the whole thing, although there were some moments where I'm like, okay, it's gonna go here, it's gonna go here, and yeah, but I will say the direction from George Clooney is very good. I haven't actually seen any of his other directed movies, and it's kind of funny that Batman is directing Batman at times with George Clooney and Ben Affleck, but that's just something that me being a nerd, I noticed. But I haven't seen any of his other direct movies. Of course, I've seen some of his movies as an actor, but he did a really good job. There's one thing for me, and I always point this out. I ironically pointed this out in my review of The Way Back, another Ben Affleck film, which I love, but I hate just zooms. Like, crash zooms can be used well, like Kill Bill for instance, but here they are overused, and that's just a visual thing. It's a nitpick, it doesn't really matter, but I always have to mention it. But this film has a very distinctive look. The blue and the yellow really stand out here, and it looks very good. The cinematography, again, for the most part, is very good, and there seemed to be some passion behind this from George Clooney, at least it seems, so I liked his direction here. I probably should watch some of his other directed movies, except I've heard some of them aren't the best, so recommend me the good ones down below. And again, with the script, it doesn't add anything new, and that's true. It's the honest truth is that this film isn't special for any reason, but it's not bad. I feel like a lot of people are giving it a little bit too much hate because they went into it expecting this grand movie for some reason, and no, it's just like you sit down, you follow these characters for an hour and 46 minutes or whatever, and you enjoy your time, and that's kind of what I felt watching this movie. I don't feel emotionally moved or anything, but I'm glad I did watch it, because I think that it is a solid film. I think that Ben Affleck, though, is phenomenal. He, of course, is one of my favorite actors, especially the last 20-25 years. He's been incredible in everything I've seen him in, especially the last few years. He's really stood out to me, and here he is by far the best aspect of the film. And I will say, there are times where he does carry the movie, just because there's parts of this movie that focus more on him, and you kind of see it through his perspective, and then it focuses on this main character, JR. And I was always more interested when it comes to his perspective and kind of just everybody around him, because JR's family is kind of a little weird. So you see like Christopher Lloyd, which was a great surprise. That was one of them I was talking about, and he's funny here, but he has also a very sweet scene. And again, it was just like when it was focusing on Ben Affleck, it was really great. But when it goes back to our lead character, it's good. There's some really fun scenes. This movie is actually surprisingly really funny, and there are some sweet moments. And there's actually one really intense scene that I thought was really well done. But at the same time, he is basically like every other standard movie protagonist of the genre. So that's why I feel like so many people are saying, well, nothing new was added with this movie. But if you're scrolling through a bunch of streaming services and you don't know what to watch, I would recommend this one. I, again, don't think that anyone will love this movie, but I also don't see anybody hating it. Everybody is kind of just mid-level on it, but I did like this a considerable amount. But it is worth watching for Ben Affleck's performance alone, because there's a lot of really great scenes, whether it's funny, emotional, like there's all this stuff, because the main plot is kind of about this kid JR, and he doesn't have a real father, so this uncle stands up kind of as his father figure but never says it, and you get some great like tough love scenes. There's one where he's like, you suck at sports, and he's just being completely honest with him, but he also teaches him some life lessons. And I know Ben Affleck has said in some interview like the world needs this movie right now, and I can see why. Again, I recommend it for basically Ben Affleck alone. You won't go into this loving it, you won't be emotionally moved or anything, but it's a good story. It just isn't anything great. The Tender Bar is a solid film that tells a sweet story that is carried by Ben Affleck's performance. Although it adds nothing new to the genre, it's still a good time. I'm going to give The Tender Bar a 3.5 out of 5. For my first watch of 2022, I think it was solid. Again, this year I really hope to kind of expand my new release watches this year and really review a lot of them. Again, last year I kind of slacked a little bit, especially in the second half of the year, and right now movie theaters are closed again, so there'll be a few films I won't see, but I will be reviewing The Tragedy of Macbeth, the new A24 version of that, when it comes to Apple TV Plus. I think next Friday. I'm very excited for that film because we did actually study Macbeth in English. But anyway, have you seen this film? If so, let me know down below. Were you on the side that actually enjoyed it like me, or were you just kind of like, it's passable? I don't know. Let me know all that down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.